everybody. Welcome back to episode 101.
You know that Joe Strummer's first band before the Clash was called the 101ers?
I did not know that.
There you go. So
Learned something
it'll
new
be
today.
in honor of Joe Strummer.
Yes.
I don't know what the name meant or referred to.
I'm not sure.
I know UB40 was the name of some kind of form, like unemployment benefit form or something like that in the UK. That's where they got their name.
I was actually a fan of the UB40s.
It was just UB40,
Oh.
not the UB40s. That's like we used to work with someone who thought it was the psychedelic ferns.
Oh, ferns?
Yeah.
Oh.
She once thought it was. By the time I knew her, she did not.
Right. That's funny.
There you go.
So thanks everybody for all your comments and everything about our news about moving. The wheels are in motion. So things are going smoothly so far, knock on wood. And we got rid of some stuff already. Depending on where you live, we have a service in our town that'll pick up like old computer equipment, CFL light bulbs, batteries, anything like that. So batteries. So we collected a bunch of stuff that we just had to recycle, or whatever they do with it. So they came and got it. So we had that was picked up from our front, and then our back door was what they didn't pick up. We had two vacuum cleaners, a rice cooker that was broken, a crock pot that was like 25 years old, the base of a blender where the top broke, and I never got that top replaced. I'm not bringing it with. So we had to get stickers from our village to put on there. They took it all today, so that was kind of exciting.
That's like a tiny, tiny dent.
Yeah, that's like
total
0.25 of what we have to do.
Oh my god! And we've got so much. We've accumulated so much stuff since we moved here that now we have like 10 times the quantity to get rid of. But there you go.
That's fun. And I'm kind of thinking of stuff that I kind of, even through last year since I was home, we were all home, everything kind of like went through some things in the beginning of a lockdown to like kind of pare things down.
That is true.
So at least it doesn't seem to me, once we get started, it doesn't seem like it's that bad, but you never know.
But then we bought more stuff too.
Like we did.
Christmas
furniture.
And all the recording stuff and all that. So
a big TV.
Another guitar.
Yeah.
And we did get the big TV. We had one decent sized TV, and we then got one giant TV. It's a little much.
Yeah, so we'll figure it all out. But yeah, it's quite. It's weird to think just the amount of stuff that we have to do in such a short time. But we've done it before. We can do it again.
Well, we haven't done this before. We haven't moved 50 miles away.
That is so true.
That's the real thing.
Always been in the vicinity of where we grew up, so in the same town. But so that is definitely going to be different.
And we have to. It's going to be a traumatic experience for our poor cats, who've not. Maybe it won't be though, because they came from Texas.
They've had a long ride. And two, they didn't know us. Now they love us. So wherever we go, I think they'll be happy, kind of thing. So yeah, and I don't think the drive for them will be bad unless they think, are we going back to Texas? Would they know that?
I don't think so. I don't think that dogs and cats have much of a memory.
Probably not. They were very adorable today. I took many pictures of them today.
Yeah, they were. And we're trying to figure out, so our current place has radiators, and unfortunately that also means we have to have, air conditioners in the window. We don't have central heat or air, but the cats like it because they can sleep on, we have radiator covers kind of like this behind us. Mm-hmm. Oh, I just noticed you took all your birthday cards down.
I did.
Was that because we're approaching my birthday?
Yes.
Anyway, but they like to lay on, when there's one in the front of the house that looks out a bay window, out onto the porch. They're making a huge commotion in the other room. But they like that because it's warm and they can look outside. There's one upstairs in our daughter Claire's room. And
there's a really soft blanket on there, so they love being on there during the day.
So now we're going to have to figure out with central heat and air, where are they going to hang out?
Right.
They don't have the nice big ledge right in front of the window.
Exactly.
So we'll have to work on that.
I have to make a little house. You saw something online where it was almost like, I don't know what it was. It was almost like, looked like a pillowcase where the cats went in.
Yeah, it was some kind of. Now I won't be able to find it, of course, but it was sort of like a cat bed, except that it was almost like a pita.
Yes,
You know?
it totally was like a
It was
pita.
like if you took a pita and you just cut off the top,
Right.
so you could put your stuff in there. It was like
And they had
a
pictures of
cat
cats
pita.
just like going in there and
Yeah,
like sleeping.
turning a little circle,
Yeah.
sticking their little face out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we need to
You might
get a
just find
cat.
some cat
pita.
pitas.
That's the only thing I could think
It's
of
totally
because
true.
it was a round, but
I
it
know,
had
it
an
was, like,
opening
super
at one
cute.
end. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I hope that shows up. Facebook, can you show that in my
Yeah, now it'll be just because we said it,
Yeah.
even without looking at the
Yeah.
ad, it'll be
Facebook or Instagram? Show me that.
Yeah, not like we're being spied on or anything. But yeah, and then there's also they make that furniture that looks like real furniture, but it's for dog.
Yes.
Well, I've mostly seen it for cats because it's smaller, but like a little couch
Yes.
with legs and arms, and
Mm-hmm.
so your cat can sit on its own.
Its own couch.
This is distracting me because when I get shirts back from the cleaners, they always smash down the collar, and then I spend the rest of the day doing this. If you wear a tie, it doesn't matter, and I think that's why they don't.
Probably, yeah, because they think.
In the old days, everyone was wearing ties, so we wear a tie. It's buttoned at the top, doesn't matter. Drives me nuts.
I would have noticed if you hadn't said anything.
Well, but because if I'm just sitting at my desk, I don't see it, but I'm looking
Right.
literally into the camera or the iPad.
So on top of this week, then we are having our home inspection tomorrow afternoon, which is fun, and then driving straight from there to visit our daughter for the weekend at college. So
That's right.
it's going to be a busy weekend. Although I kind of feel like, although it's going to be busy, it'll be fun, but it'll also be like a tiny break instead of like just going hog
That's
wild
true.
and start, packing stuff and things like that. So
But then
I
we'll
think-
hardly have any time when we get back. Well, that's
Yeah.
not really true. We'll
Yeah.
have a few weeks.
mm-hmm.
But it seems like, pardon me, it seems like we won't have any time.
Yeah.
The good thing so we're driving up to the new place for the inspection and then leaving from there to go to her college. So now we'll have a clearer idea of how long it's going to take to get from the new place
That's true.
when we drop her off in the fall. We'll still be here when we pick her up at the end of the semester.
That's true.
Because we're not letting her get out of having to work, pack, and clean and all that stuff. So
Right.
we're not moving for real, even if we close beforehand. We're
Plus,
not
she
moving
said
for
she's
that.
getting rid of a lot of stuff that she's
That's true.
accumulated, so that's good.
That is very true. But so there's that, and so we've got all the craziness involving buying a house. So you got an inspection, and then if the inspection reveals that there are any problems, then you got to notify the other side and try to work that out. And then when that is pinned down, then there's an appraisal, because they typically don't do an appraisal until they know for sure that all the contingencies in the contract have passed. So then, the appraisal has to get done, and then essentially everything else, all the paperwork is largely done in terms of our mortgage, but there's still all those little things that could
Right.
possibly go wrong between now and the time of close.
So even though we're very confident, like
Yeah.
everything's going smoothly so far, the people we worked with are doing great so far, there's always just that,
right, well,
nightmare stories you hear.
but the thing is, everything is out of our hands now.
True.
We did everything we had to do. We got all the documentation together. We got, so we're good. Nothing. It's not that anything on our end, could.
Are we holding anything up?
Yeah, we're not going to hold anything up or cause any problem. But there's always these other things. You don't know what the appraisal is going to say until it's done and all that. But so we got all that, and then obviously that leads to moving. So that's a whole bunch of stuff. I've got my boss at work. Tomorrow's his last day because he announced a couple weeks ago that he got a different job and is leaving. So I got that going on. Obviously, I got to go pick up our daughter at the end of the semester in about a month.
And then you've got your
I'm doing a presentation next week for the ABA, American Bar Association, is doing a thing for law students, specifically law students who might be thinking about starting their own practice right out of law school, which happens. It's not.
Wow.
It's not.
I guess I wouldn't have thought people would do that.
Right. So it's not two full days, but they have presentations on 2 different days. And a group of people from my office were doing on the second day.
Are you gonna say don't do that? Just kidding.
No. I mean, no judgment. It's up to them. I mean, some people go to law school. They already have kind of like connections and whatnot,
True.
so they know what they're going to do. But and like you could have a parent or a cousin or somebody who's a lawyer. Then they already know what they want to do with their career. But anyway, so that's next week. Then we have this mandatory continuing legal education that we have to do, and we have to report every 2 years. I got to get that wrapped up by the end of June. So there's no
It's
time like
kind
the
of a
present.
lot. Yeah, it's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
Although I am glad that we're moving as the weather starts to get warmer,
for sure.
because that is going to be so much more enjoyable to be able to hang out outside on our nice deck and.
Oh, and then because this place has a pool, that's like a whole nother thing we got to learn about.
Right. So yeah, we have.
Not only you buy a
our realtor
house.
said that they had a recommendation of like a service that can come out and like take a look at it because we have obviously no idea how to do that. But we're gonna be pool people.
Yeah, we're just gonna get that. We'll have that little strainer thing. We'll just stand out there. Oh, I misspoke.
What?
I totally misspoke. I think that I said, and I can't believe I got this wrong. I think the last time when we were talking about the house, but we'd just gotten confirmation that they accepted our offer, I said mistakenly I'd be the first person in my family to own a pool. One of my sisters lived in Northern California
Oh yes.
many years ago, and of course they had a pool. And I went to visit them and swam in the
Okay,
pool.
in your defense though, that was in the 70s.
It was
so
in
it's
the
not
70s,
something that was current.
late
so.
70s. But when I said we're going to be skimming the leaves off the top, and then all of a sudden I had this picture of my brother-in-law, this metal picture of my brother-in-law doing exactly that because he's always been a very outdoorsy sort of guy, and I just remember him being out there in Novato, California, in lovely Marin County. It really is beautiful out there.
Yeah.
And
I've never been to California, but.
It's funny. I've really only been there twice as I'm thinking about it. We went to visit my sister and her husband. And then I went to the Rose Bowl in like 1989. And those two things are about 10 years, not quite. Well, yeah, roughly 10 years apart, I suppose. I'm just trying to think. I don't think I've been to California any other time. I've never had to go for work. That's really
I would like
funny.
to go to the forest and see the giant trees.
Oh, the
there,
redwoods
so
are amazing.
that would be amazing.
Yeah, Muir Woods is a great place to see redwoods. Yeah.
So that'll be on our list to do sometime.
Yeah. Although we'll have to recover a little financially.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we start traveling.
Yeah.
Well, the pandemic isn't completely over yet.
Right.
So we got a built-in reason not to travel for a little while.
Right.
Oh my God.
Although we'll
There's
have
a lot of
after the
expense
summer, we'll
in that
have
when you
one
buy.
less kid in college, so
That is true.
that'll be good.
That is
So
true.
we'll have one left. So.
Well, the funny thing is that part of the rationale. I mean, part of the rationale for buying a new house is to not to be tied down to this community where we are right now, which is very, very nice. But we've explained it's very crowded and there's a lot going on, a lot of construction, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of the rationale. But the other thing is that where we're moving is more affordable. So
Definitely.
ultimately, we're getting a nicer house and spending less money.
Yes.
Great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I would
but
do
there's
that all
all
day.
those costs in the beginning.
Right.
I'm not just talking about down payment because that's coming, but that's equity essentially in your house that you're buying. But all of the escrowing taxes and this, that, and the other thing, and
Yeah, the closing costs.
And I've done it. Obviously we've bought properties before, but not only that. I mean, I've handled closings for clients so many times. I know all that stuff, but it's still when it's your own money, you're kind of like, oh god,
So yeah, it's going on. We didn't get any calls or texts today, so that was good.
That's
so
true.
we think, okay, that's good. No news is good news. We're still heading in the right direction, so that's exciting.
Yeah, and I don't anticipate any problems, but.
Yeah, I don't.
But
either.
you always, and I said I think I've said this exact thing before, but I just I worry a lot. I just always have, always will. I always when people tell me I worry too much, I always say no. I worry exactly the right amount. You don't worry nearly enough.
Right.
But I do.
You worry for the both of us.
Yeah, that's probably true. But so even though we've seen everything on paper, we've seen all the loan application and the good faith estimate and all this stuff. We know where we stand.
Right.
There, but you still always worry, or at least I do.
Until we actually get the keys in hand.
You
And then
know,
you're like,
they're
okay,
going to
now
come
it's
back
final.
and they're going to come back and they're going to say, "Remember that one time when you were in college and you bounced that $25 check or whatever the hell it was?" I don't know if I ever bounced a check in college, but I do remember we used to go to the student union and you could write a check
Cash
up
a check.
because this was sort of like before ATMs
You
or
could
at the
do
very
that at
beginning
the
of
grocery
ATMs.
store.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you just always think they're gonna find that one thing that I did. 50 years. Well, not 50 years. 35 years ago, I did this one thing. I missed a payment on something or whatever.
Yeah, they're not going to go back.
It's not, well, they don't, that is true. But I mean, aside from that, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But anyway, who knows? So we got a lot going on.
We do. And our oldest is coming home this weekend while we're gone and probably organizing some of her stuff, which is good.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We should put one of the little security cameras in her room.
How's it?
See.
Or like
That's gross,
and
actually.
having like a walkie-talkie. How's it going?
Yeah. Right. No, that's gross to put security cameras in someone's room. But I'm just saying.
We actually saw it. Not to.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, a Crazy Epic Homes is like a show that's on TV, and this one we just watched it briefly last night, and they had almost like a fortress of security.
Oh, it was so
They owned a
creepy.
security company, and it was in LA, so obviously making it safe for the stars. But
Not just in the city, it was up in the hills where they have wildfires and things like that.
Bulletproof windows. They had a door that had like bolts that went into the wall like this much, so nobody could penetrate it.
Some of it
they
was
had cameras everywhere,
They had
which
cameras
is also
everywhere.
creepy.
Not just. I mean, I know people will sometimes have them, in a living room or whatever because an intruder.
And obviously
might
the
come
front
through
door for the ring thing.
But some of it was just for fire safety because they were in an area where wildfires are common. So they had a certain kind of insulation that would not only be fireproof but wouldn't transfer heat to the interior of the house. They had a helicopter pad so that they could make an exit if the
side of the mountain was about to fall,
or was it was all burning down and all that. So, but a lot of it was they had not just a safe room but this whole floor that was
It was nuts.
It just felt very creepy to me. I mean,
And plus, it's like on the Ready they showed like an iPad where you could just like click on every room, but there's still some sort of privacy you think that you'd want to have for members of your family, not to be able to just be able to have
we're
a
not
camera.
We're
not gonna have
all
that.
stuff. But since we haven't won the lottery, I don't think we have to worry about being burgled.
Yeah, I don't think.
Well, maybe everybody has to worry about being burgled, but I'm not worried about it.
Burgled. That's a funny name.
You know what the definition of residential burglary is? Breaking and entering with the intent to commit a felony inside.
Okay.
You always think of it as just being that somebody breaks in your house and steals stuff, which is typically what it is. But it actually is a broader definition than that.
All right. I learned something new today.
Yeah.
So what else is going on besides that?
You asking me?
I know.
Haven't I said enough?
And we're done. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, we do have all that on our plate, which is exciting and fun. And for me, I actually am looking forward to just getting reorganized, and already thinking like, we obviously toured the place, but then you don't like some things. You're like, wait, how many cabinets are there? And like, things. So I actually kept on going to listing online and like counting the cabinets and like seeing like where I could put stuff. There's one fun place that's on the other side of the kitchen, and it has like a really long counter. That's gonna be our coffee bar. We already decided.
Right. You have to have a coffee bar. We're gonna get the Michael Scott espresso machine.
Yeah.
I don't have
And like a
need for that.
frother, yeah. I ever thought, but it'd have the cappuccino thing. And we're not that fancy with coffee. It's just a Mr. Coffee Maker. But
The only thing I put in my coffee is more coffee.
yes. And me, I like have ice. I
You
sometimes
always
froth
do the
it.
iced coffee.
Yes.
I have zero desire.
Okay, so fun fact about me is I didn't have my first cup of coffee until I was 40, ish. Just because I always hated it. And my dad was a huge coffee drinker, and I would like have a sip of his. But my dad was diabetic, and back then he put that sweet 10 in it,
Yeah.
which is like very saccharine-y, and just not a normal like sweetness kind of thing. So if it was sugar, probably I would have liked it. But then one day somebody at my office back then had an iced coffee, and I was like, ooh, that looks good. And then I had one, and I'm like, this is amazing. So I've never had anything but
I
iced
drink coffee every day. I've had coffee every day for as long as you know me. It took someone at your office.
But I think because of the combination of like having like the milk or whatever, now I do almond milk or oat milk or something like that, and then just the ice and things, like a good combo for me. So I just love it. And actually, if we've gone to a restaurant that or like a diner or something like that, normally they just have that hot coffee. So then I ask for a glass of ice.
It's supposed to be hot, right? They make it hot. That's what coffee is.
See, but then if you don't if it gets cold, like it turns off, it's okay for me because then I can just put it in and because it's already cold.
Or you could put it in the microwave and it'll be hot again.
Yeah. No, thank you. So yeah, that's my coffee story, and so yeah, it's just iced coffee for me, 365 days a year. So it doesn't matter if it's 20 below, I'm still having iced coffee.
But you'd still drink water.
That's true.
Ice water.
That's true.
Oh, well, what are you going to do?
I know.
I guess it's okay to put Irish whiskey in coffee, but that's not something I generally do.
That is pretty good. Or, oh my god, what is the other
Oh,
thing?
you're going to say Bailey's.
Yes. It's still a little sweet.
Yeah, I just
Then it's like hot
coffee.
chocolatey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like coffee and more coffee.
And more coffee.
And the funny thing is, it's not like I even really drink all that much. We don't even make a full pot of coffee in the morning.
Right.
We make like 2/3. Yeah, it's like 2/3 of a pot. That's usually gone or nearly gone by the end of the day. But
yeah.
it's not like I'm inhaling coffee. I just like to have just coffee.
Exactly. And cold pizza with it is even better.
That's the breakfast of champions.
It is the breakfast of champions.
Cold pizza and black coffee.
So we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do on Saturday. We'll
Yeah, that'll
take
be
pictures.
interesting because we're gonna be.
We'll probably do stories on here with our daughter if she would like to join us, and just share pictures on campus and things like that. So I'm excited to walk around and kind of feel normal a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on with us. Thanks again for all your comments and everything.
Yes.
And you can follow us along our journey, how it goes, and wish us luck that everything goes.
If anything goes wrong with the house, we'll just pretend it never happened.
Yeah. Wait, what are you talking about?
It'll be the middle of June. We'll still have this behind us. We'll just pretend
right. And
like
wait,
none of that ever happened. We'll delete those episodes.
Right.
So we'll pretend nothing happened.
So we hope you guys have a good rest of the night, and we will see you on Saturday. Bye.
Bye.